Hello everyone, welcome back to another Mercedes channel video. I'm Max, this is my van Rose, which is a 310D Mercedes T1, and what I'm doing now in this video is going to be showing you how to replace the wheel bearing. Now it's that simple. I'm doing it next to a river in the Scottish Highlands, looking at Ben Nevis just there, and yeah, on a main road kind of. So it's very simple. I have the bearing here. It's about, I think, 17 or 18 pounds, just less than 20 pounds on eBay. 10:30 in the morning. I'm hoping I'll get this done today. So for a bit of speed, we use the impact driver to take these out. Mercedes provide their own tray, which is the hubcap centre thing. There you go. And then off that can come. Now they're tapered wheel bearings. You shouldn't need anything other than like a little poke, and then you can use the old bearing race to push in the new bearing race. It's very simple. Here I did it in the morning before I left to get my tyres done. Although everything was disassembled, I had to go collect the parts from Euro Car Parts last time, the bearing, and then do it in like 2 hours in the morning. And I did it. So it's really not a hard process, and that was the first time I'd ever done it. So this is the second time, so I'm going to show you how I've done it, or how I did it last time. You just pop this centre cap off with a screwdriver. This bearing's been squeaking, I think it's this bearing. It's really hard to tell. I should take this caliper off first, to be fair though, because that does need to come off. I'm just being impatient. So the caliper, I believe, is a 22 and a 24 or something? 19 and a 22. And then you take the whole caliper off. It only squeals when it gets hot, like when you've been driving for like over 20 minutes, half hour. And then when you steer right, it squeals, and the longer the journey, the worse it gets. So my thought is, with being with the steering and me doing the left bearing, it's got to be the right one that's now gone. It wasn't in the greatest condition, I just didn't have the time to do it then. So I bought one, and I've had it sat in the back just in case it went. I heard the squeal first before I left for Scotland. So it's done well. It's done about 5,000 miles since it first squealed. So, to be fair, I can't complain. Getting there. You can buy new caps for these, but I managed to get them off and tap them on alright, just tap them on with a bit of wood. Now, the other thing you'll need is lithium grease, not your usual molten carbon grease, because this needs to be high temperature. So yeah, you need a rag. That's another thing I need to get. So I'm going to get a bigger flathead screwdriver and a rag, because yeah, it's messy, and I'm going to put some messy gloves on to do the greasing. But yeah, what we need to do is knock this little, I think it's a 6, it might be a 5 mil Allen key off the end of there, and then you can get like some pipe grips, which I've lost mine, and my mule grips are now there, so I'm going to get a wood clamp for that as well. And then I can twist this off. You just like knock it off with some pipe grips or big adjustable spanner or mule grips or whatever. It doesn't have to be tight as well. And you just nip it back off, and then it's just hand tight. You take that off, and then you can pull it off, but you'll have to catch the bearing, because the bearing will fall out because they're tapered bearings. So the tighter you do it, the tighter the bearing is. Okie dokie. So I've got a cup of tea, which is always a win, and I've got some old shorts and a flathead screwdriver, just in case I need a bigger one. So I'm going to get, I think it might be a 5 mil Allen key. Yeah, it's a 5 mil. Actually, I think I did do this to torque spec last time. This Allen key on the end, because obviously this holds the nut on, which is quite important. It's more important than the nut being done up, because you can have a loose bearing and it won't be the end of the world. Straight away you'll know about it. Whereas if that comes off, then yeah, you're fucked. Basically, remove that, we remove the washer, and then we can remove the bearing itself, which, oh, there's lots of shiny bits in there. Oh, there's lots of shiny bits in there. Here is the bearing. I think that one might be the squealy one. Yeah, there's a bit of metal in there. Dear, I'm surprised that still works, man. How was that driving me around? How has that not got loads of play in it? Fuck knows. Oh well. There we go. One fucked bearing. Now hopefully they're the right ones. Because if they're not, then I'm fucked. No, I'm sure there's a Euro Car Parts or something around here. So you can see the discoloration of that. It's like a grey, and the reason it's gone like a grey is because of the silvery bits from the metal. Like that should go like a brown when it's dirty. It starts off like a clean yellow, and then it should go a brown. But if it's silver, like a grey, there's bits of metal in there. And then we take this off like this. Like this. There we go. And there is a bearing in the back there as well. And we would like to see how fucked or not fucked this one is. Oh, you have to pop the oil seal off first. That was what was the resistance coming off. Yeah, there's an oil seal on the back which comes with the new bearing. So that's the new oil seal which goes in there. Good, that looks the right size. This is the smaller front bearing, of which they do indeed look the same, which is great. Ended up using my 1/2 inch long bar through there, and it took about 6 hits. So yeah, that is the oil seal, and that it's not great that I'm in the grass, but such is life on the side of the road. This bearing is not as bad. It's definitely the outer one that's gone. It was the same on the other one. I think it's the one that's under more pressure, the outer one. It's also a smaller bearing. So yeah, but that is everything that comes out. Well, not quite true. I didn't pop the actual race out then. Actually, I've just realised the race is still inside, so I still need to pop that race out in there, and then the one this side as well, and then we can clean it all up with some brake cleaner and some rags, and then apply new grease, and yeah, and I won't bother cleaning the disc yet because it's all in the grass until it's on the hub again. There we go, and then out is that one, which is the outer race. And then next one, I have this little punch. It does kind of damage it, but as I say, these are the old races, and we will use these races to tap in the new ones so that we don't damage them. I hate working with grease because everything gets messy. Every tool gets, I would say, wrecked, but by the time you clean them off, they all look nice and shiny, and you know, it kind of preserves them. So you know, it's worse than them being soaked in water. I mean, it's not as bad as them being soaked in water, is it? Pop out that one goes. Yeah, you can get drifts which are the right size to push it out all nicely, but you know, you can make do with a socket and a nail punch, and some screwdrivers and a hammer. Right, now I'm going to clean all this up with some brake cleaner, get all the grease out of here just because there'll be dirt and sediment in there, just to make it all nice and clean, because I have got a whole tub of grease. Brake cleaner is the stuff. That's now what the shaft is looking like. Just got a bit of grease on there still. That's looking nice and clean in there. And same the other side, not minus the bits of grass that have now just freshly stuck to it. But I will hammer this one in first, I think, and then do the front one, and then it can go back together. So I'm just going to clean up the old races so that they don't get loads of shit stuck to the new one. Not massively, that'll do. So we've got this one, and then I'm going to put this race in before I do anything else, and I'll show you what to do with the bearing in a sec. So I did forget, you want to put some grease on it. Now this is just the lithium grease that we'll be greasing everything with. I'm just putting a thin layer on, just to make it go in easier and so it doesn't seize in. Now the important bit is getting it in straight. That is the most important bit. But I'm just going to gently go round here. And literally just go around being careful not to make it go in squiff. Now again, if you have those drift things, you can get like pressure in the middle. I don't, so I'm literally just going around gently. Using the old one to hammer against so I don't damage the new one. So I'm going to get my bearing here, wherever I opened it, there we are. And I'm going to get a decent amount. You can tell like there's lots of play in there. That almost seems like too much. They are Febby, so hopefully they're good. Hopefully they're genuine Febby. But I'm going to get a big old scoop like that and put it on my hand without trying to get any grass in with it, because we're not working in the best environments. And then I'm going to start with the back edge, which is more open, and I'm just going to like feed it into the bearings, just squashing it in. Don't take too much, just like a little bit, and just push it in and make sure it goes in, and then you'll start to see it fill in the back. And we're going to get, I would say, because this is quite a big bearing, that's like, that will go in this bearing most likely. If not, just smear it around the outside. So just like little bits, just pushing it in, simple, just like that, just packing it tight. Go around a couple of times just to make sure you've not missed any bits. That's feeling like it's a bit more resistive to giving in more grease. So then we'll flip the bearing over, and as you can see, it's all filled from behind, and there's way too much inside as well. And then I'm just going to do the same from the other side. You start to see it pop up, and you see the ridges. That means it's like full and pushing the grease up. That's what you want to see, because you don't want air in the grease. You want to pack it so it's pushing back up on the grease. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied with that, so I probably didn't need the second scoop I put in. I'm going to dump that back in there, and then I'm just going to wipe some excess into there. And I like to just put a bit around the bearing as well. So I've now packed that with grease and stuck it in there. I'm not sure how much you saw, but basically I got most of that grease in. And then I'm going to put some grease on the inside of here, so it pushes grease into there as well. But you don't need to put any down in the inside, because that's never going to, well, be important to needing grease, because there's no moving parts down there. I'm just going to grease that, bob that in there, and we should be good to go on this side. Then we can push that on. That oil seal will push up against the Ujima the shaft on the hub, and then we can put the smaller bearing in, which I've already greased, as I said. And then we can put the washer back on, and then the lock nut, and then we're done pretty much, other than the caliper and the wheel and all that stuff, and you got to bleed the brakes now. So I'm hoping you can see okay. Apologies for the terrible camera, but I'm just going to load this onto here. So yeah, I've just gone over that with some grease, put that in there, and now I'm going to get this square washer. Again, I cleaned all that up and greased that 8 months ago, so I'm satisfied with that. That can go on there, and that locks in. It has to be the rectangle upways, and then we screw this on the end. Try not to cross thread it. So I've just been looking, I think it's 1.2 kilogram meters you do this up to, but I think I just did it up by hand last time, so we'll just do that. I kind of remember how tight it was, and it hadn't come off yet. So I've also smeared a load of grease around there, as you can see, and I'm just going to knit this up till it feels nice and tight. Probably about there. And then I've put a little bit of grease in here because it says packet, but I've only put a bit because, as you can see, there's loads from before.